All right, Drew, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure, my name is Dees, and I'm a senior at the University of Florida, studying telecommunications news within the College of Journalism and Communications, based out of Gainesville, Florida. And so I'm just, living my best life and trying to soak in every moment of my senior year as I can, along with, here at the University of Florida, we are lucky and blessed in the sense that we have a fully functioning student ran newsroom. We go to those morning editorial meetings, we pitch our stories, we write, we edit, we do everything. So I'm lucky and blessed that we already have that experience coming out of college. A lot of us still like to go on, of course, and build on those skills in a real working newsroom outside the college setting. But I think that UF really gives us every opportunity that we can to, simulate the real world and what it's going to be like to be a reporter and be that multimedia journalist. And we actually have our own news program. It's called The First of Five. So we come on at 5, and that package better be in Nexio by 4:30. So it's very real, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the rush. You have tears, you get angry along the way, but then once you go on air live and see that package, it makes it all worth it, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Can you tell me a little bit about how, you started or you got into journalism?
Absolutely. So I always like to tell people it's 2021, and how often do you see a person with a physical disability on TV? You don't. And so I hope that I can be the one to be that trailblazer and to change that. Within many different organizations, we focus on that diversity and inclusion, and we do the same in news, right? But that one key piece that I found that's missing is disability. And I love informing my community on the important issues, but I also want to inspire other people like me who are growing up, give them someone to, be a role model for them. Growing up, we all want someone that we can look at that TV screen and say, oh, there's me. So I hope that along the way and along my storytelling journey that I'm able to do that as well.
So, Drew, you have cerebral palsy, am I right?
That's correct.
And how has that been or maybe it hasn't at all? How has it affected or impacted your journalism career thus far? What was the transition like, or how has that been?
I would say it's twofold, right? There's some positives to it, right? Because I'm able to tell those stories through a different lens and a different perspective than any other reporter out there. And I'm able to relate to a lot of people if they're struggling or going through something. So I'm able to make that person, whoever I'm interviewing with, feel comfortable. Let them know that, I might not be going through those same struggles, but I get it, right? And then also the negative aspect, but I really, even though it is a negative aspect, I try to see the positive in everything and see the change that I can do with my platform, right? But I feel like I'm having to prove myself 3 times as hard as the average journalist because some people aren't able to look beyond the chair. They see the chair and all they see is red flags. Oh, he's gonna come in here, and if we give him an internship and just say, oh, all this is not accessible, let's sue him. But that's not my approach. My approach is I'm here to help you, not hurt you. I really think that, oftentimes we're gonna have reporters, we're gonna have anchors that may be on crutches, may not have a long-term disability, but in the end, that universally designed concept of making maybe that anchor desk a flat platform or little things like that. Yes, it's gonna be beneficial to me as a reporter with a disability, but it will also enhance your company and make it more accessible for all. So I really hope that when I go out into the workforce, people are able to see me for Drew and not the guy or the reporter in the wheelchair. Because at the end of the day, yes, I have accommodations and things that I need, but we're all a little special, right? We all have unique needs. We may not all have a disability, but we're all a little special at the end of the day. So that's the kind of approach that I like to take.
Drew, I'm a big believer in that. if you want to tell different stories, you have to hire different people to tell them. And in your view, um, what are stories that are not being told that, people who have a physical disability or require different assistance, what are stories like that, news stations aren't covering?
Absolutely. I think a big gap in there is the struggles that people with disabilities have to go through with state funding, no matter what state you're in. I'm in Florida and you're in California, but people with disabilities across the board and across the nation, we have to fight many battles, whether it be insurance, home modifications, personal care attendance, being able to be that productive member of society. Everyone wants us to be a productive member of society, but they make it so hard. I always say through this college experience, I've learned why the graduation rate for people with disabilities is so low. Because there's so many barriers and obstacles that we have to overcome that the average person does not. And I'm not here to say I'm making excuses for myself because I'm not, because I was always raised with that mentality that can't, it's not a word in our house. You can do it and you will do it. And that's that same approach that I've taken on my professional life and my personal life. And people may look at me and they may see the chair and be like, how's he gonna do it? How's he gonna be a reporter? But I just want people to know, look beyond the disability, and cover those issues, cover that limelight. And one of the ones right now that we're facing that is not covered, and I'm working on trying to uncover it a little bit because it's more of an investigative piece instead of a day turn, is healthcare workers here in Florida, they're supposed to be able to get the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. It's spreading like wildfire, right? The same thing. Healthcare workers are having a tough time, but people with disabilities and people that are more susceptible to this virus, such as myself, we're kind of been left out of that picture as well. So, what's going on there? Those kinds of things, those important issues.
Andrew, just to put in context for those who are watching, I was able to find you and discovered you on the Instagram page, That News Life, because they did a post on you. And like as soon as I saw you in the post and watched the video, I was like, oh, I have to go ahead and reach out to this guy. It was like almost automatic. I sent you the message right there. And because I think all the time, we never see different people. We always see just the straight and narrow person on TV and all that. And there you can have diverse newscasts, skin color and all that, but we can go beyond that. And I think you are a what's the word I'm looking for? You're breaking down that barrier. I've watched your work. I've seen some of the stories you've put together, and I am like, wow, this can be done, and I want to make it known to stations, worldwide across the country that there are ways of integrating everybody into this kind of workforce and not just behind the scenes but on air too. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the changes that have been made to accommodate you?
Absolutely. First and foremost, all the faculty here at the College of Journalism has always supported me to the best of their ability. My first couple of semesters prior to this semester, I was sent out with a DSLR camera, and typically students work in pairs, right? You have a photog, and then one's a reporter, and then they switch. But for me, due to logistical barriers, transportation having to be transported by my personal care attendants and things like that. And for those who don't know who those are, they basically help me with my activities of daily living and help me live a normal life as possible. And I always say, actually, I don't even like that word, right? Because who's normal in society? No one. But I would say, so for those first couple semesters, I was sent out with a DSLR camera and my PCA, who had absolutely no broadcast knowledge, and was told, hey, get what you can get. And the stories were okay, but I knew that I had to find a way to take it to the next level if I wanted a shot at this industry after graduation. And I don't know if you are, but I'm a big believer in faith. My faith has got me where I am today. I would not be here without my faith. Um, And I believe things happen not in our timing, but in his. And so this semester, a faculty member was brought on board. She came from FAMU out of Tallahassee, Florida, and she got the job here at UF. And she was like, "God, why are you sending me to UF?" And she has done mobile journalism and actually won an Emmy Award for a documentary that she shot completely with a completely with the iPhone 5S. And she saw my Pointer article. There's an article about me when I received my $50,000 standing chair. Um, not this past December, but December before. It's been about a year now since I've had the chair. Crazily enough, I feel like it's just yesterday. I feel like I'm still getting used to the chair. Um, and she saw that article. She saw my story, and she's like, "This is why. This is why I was sent to the University of Florida." So I think all the faculty across the board have always poured into me, but she adds an extra layer of, flavor that I needed. And she, knows how to produce great content with a mobile device, and that's what I needed. And we shot with this mobile. Oh, it's blending in. This mobile device right here for the first couple weeks, but she's really help me. I'm one that always pushes the envelope, right? I'm pushing the envelope even being in this industry alone, but she's really pushed me every week. And this past week, I'm happy to say that we were able to find an adaptive piece of equipment where you can control the zoom with a hand control, because it's very hard for me with my hands to zoom the camera in and that kind of thing. But I always wanted to shoot with a big camera. And actually, I don't know if you saw the piece yet, but my Valentine's Day piece that
I
was
did.
last night was
Hmm.
shot with a big camera. So, you know, we've set milestones and we've already broken those, and we set those out for like March or April, but here we are almost midway in February, and we're already breaking those, like such as going live. That was a whole big deal for me. Because like I said, I have there's lots of puzzle pieces that have to go together for any journalist to make a story. But I have the extra time management, being because I'm slow at editing. I can edit, but I need to be given either a couple hours or maybe like a day or two. That's why I like investigative pieces more than day turns, because I'm able to, do that on my own. But as far as the writing, I'm able to tell her what I want in my script orally. She writes it down. It is fully my story. The only way that she really helps me is the editing process, and that's all because of the dexterity in my hands. But I'm hoping, that there's still some stations out there that, hires those photogs. So I'll have a photog, so that barrier won't be such a barrier anymore.
Got it. And did you ever think before, starting in college that maybe stations wouldn't be as receptive to you? Was that a concern at all for you?
Oh, absolutely. Since you mentioned it, I'll take you down the path of my internship experience. I'm not here to drop names because I'm not here to make anyone bad. That's not what I do. I think I applied for like 4 to 5 different internships. And got denied. Okay, and I got anyone gets discouraged when they get denied, right? But I got discouraged because I'm like, okay, maybe I'm pushing. I've always been told I can do anything I set my mind to, but maybe I'm pushing the envelope too much. What is wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? And I kept going back to those career fairs because I'm a person that I don't take no for an answer. If I took no for an answer, um, I wouldn't be here at the University of Florida. I wouldn't be where I am today, right? With the podcast and all that stuff. I'm just so lucky and blessed that at the end of the day, I'm headstrong and I have a great support system around me that's headstrong. So I'll take you back. It was about fall of 2018. I went to about my sixth career fair here at the University of Florida. Even though people kept telling me no, I kept going back. I'm like, there's something's gonna give here, right? So I went up to this table. They were West Chew News, based out of Orlando, Florida, and I said, "Hi, I'm Dees. I'm looking for an internship. If you have anything available, and there it was the assistant news director and the news director there that attended the career fair, and their eyes were kind of wide, and I could I've seen that look many a times, right? That was a look of hesitation, like, oh crap, like he really wants this. And they asked me a series of questions. They're like, we're based out of Orlando, right? And I said, yes. You're gonna have to travel, right? I said, yes. You're gonna have to stay overnight in a hotel, right? I said, yes. I said, I will do whatever it takes to make it work. And I gave them a resume, and I told them have a great day, and I walked off, and I or rolled off rather. I didn't think anything of it. But then a couple months, I had done forgot about the career fair at this point. But then the career fair was in like August. About October, I get this email in my inbox from West True News in Orlando, and they're like, "Hey, do you want an internship?" And in that moment, I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is about to happen." And you just want to reply right away and say yes. But there's lots of logistical pieces, such as those PCAs that I told you about. Who's gonna stay? Who's gonna be willing to stay overnight with me? Because I don't get 24 hours. I get about 8 hours on average a day.
Hmm.
So how are we gonna work out that piece? Who's gonna pay for the hotel costs? Will I have? Can I get a scholarship? How? What kind of chair am I gonna take? I don't know. There's just so many pieces that others do not have to think about. And I said, this is gonna happen. There's a reason that this has happened, and I took a chance. It was such a busy summer. I went down on Tuesday mornings. Gainesville is about an hour and a half from Orlando, so not too bad. But I got up at like 5 a.m., was off the door at like 6, and I would be at the station at West True News around 9 a.m., and I would work all day and go in the field with the reporters. I got to shoot my own anchor reel. I got to do whatever I want. Their mantra there is your internship is what you make it. You get from it what you put in, and I went in full force because I really wanted to take advantage of that, and that was the first time that really opened my eyes because they had photographers there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a station that I need. It's really hard because it was a top 20 market station, and I said I'm gonna have to work if I want to start at a place like this. But I'm lucky and blessed to say I'm still in contact with them to this day. They always call me if they see that a resume has a former Gator alumni on it. They say, "Hey, do you know this person? Are they a great person?" I'm actually gonna have them on the podcast so they can tell news leaders just how they went about providing an internship for a person with a disability, because I think that's really important. And I say all that to say I interned at a top 20 market station after all those rejections. But I'm thankful for those rejections because to me, those rejections were kind of like a blessing in disguise. Because had I accepted those more local internships, I wouldn't have gone out my bubble. I wouldn't have gone outside my comfort zone and have all those connections I have today. I also, just to give folks a tidbit of how determined and dedicated I was that summer, I would go down on Tuesday, work all day till 6, sleep overnight in a hotel, work all day till 6, go back to Gainesville, get whatever rest I could, and then I would be back in the student and newsroom here at UF at 8 a.m. on Thursdays. And I would do that every week. I don't know how my body survived it, but it did. But it did. And I just like to tell people I am willing to put in the work, and they're willing just to give me that shot. I will give it my. I don't give things 100. I give things 110%. And if I can't give 110%, I don't take on that task.
And what it for stations who may be receptive to hiring somebody who has some form of disability at all, and who might be on the fence in the future about hiring someone, what would you tell them? As far as like, hey, this can be done.
Absolutely. I would tell if I could say one thing to them is like I've been saying, just give us a shot. And I like to think that our unique perspectives will add value to your station. It will make your content even better because I can tell stories, and other people with disabilities can tell stories through a different lens. I like to say that our adaptability, we always have to be adaptable in this environment. It's an ever changing, fast paced environment, right? But that's what we, as people with disabilities, do on a daily basis. We deal with getting denied medical equipment from insurance, such as the $50,000 chair, Alex, that you now see that can help me stand up and do an interactive stand up.
Mhm.
Like, that's a game changer for me in the world of broadcast news. But I will tell you, that didn't happen overnight. I was denied by insurance twice and almost had to go to court and fight it to get that. But I got it. Universal design. We deal with not being able to go to a friend's house. Why? Because it's not accessible and it's not universal design. So adaptability, and to be able to tell stories through that different lens are two key components that I think people with disabilities can add to your organizations that others cannot.
And for those who might have disabilities themselves, who want to get into the journalism career, what would you tell them?
I would tell them go for it. Don't ever, ever let anyone tell you that you can't. And I'm not here to say it's going to be perfect. And I'm not here to say it's going to be easy. Because as much as a positive response that I've received, I do have some people that are hesitant and some people that are quote unquote haters out there.
Mhm.
But you know what? I use that as extra fuel to my fire and extra motivation to show people that I can do it, to show people that I will do it, and to show people that I can produce just as good, if not better, content than any other journalist out there. So go for it. Connect with me. Connect with me. If you have any questions or you're thinking about getting into the industry, I'm the open book. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. And that's the same thing for employers if they have any questions. Not necessarily to hire me at their station, but if you just have any questions on how to incorporate disability within your corporation and within the media, reach out to me. I'm an open book and I'm here to help.
Got it. And then for you, speaking journalism and post college, do you want to? Is your goal to be on air or photo? What do you want to do?
So everyone's told me, hey, Drew, you should be a producer, or hey, Drew, you should be in the digital department. Logistically, that's a better fit for you. But no, no, I want what I want. And that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to be that reporter. I'm going to be that anchor.
Hmm.
Can't never could until he tried. So I'm gonna try, and I also understand that, that may not be my starting job in the beginning. I may have to be that producer and be that digital content producer as well. But I'm willing. I'm willing to put in the work if they're willing to give me a shot. So yes, my end goal is you will see me on your TV one day. I don't know when, but you bet you'll see me on your TV.
And for anyone watching, I've watched your stuff, so this guy has skill. It's there, so no need to worry about that. So I mean, maybe you haven't found something yet, but you graduate when this summer?
I graduate in August. Yep. Sooner than I would like, but hey, look out, word I'm coming for you. It's time for the next chapter. And if anyone's willing or got any positions, let me know. I'll take those as well. I think the top part for me is, and I'm an open book and I'm candidate. So I think the top part for me is like any journalist, when they apply for that job, they're able to just move on a dime, right? And for me, I want to try to stay in Florida if at all possible. Not because I don't want to travel or don't want jobs out of state, but I had to factor in those benefits and those logistical issues that I told you about, those personal care attendants, and that support system that I wouldn't have if I went state to state. But I am not opposed to a job out of state. I just have to have that person that's willing to work with me, willing to give me time to figure out the pieces and see how we can go about it. And I really think that COVID-19, the pandemic, is a blessing in disguise for me because, you know, in a typical interview, I would have probably went in and said, "Hey, is it possible for me to work remotely 2 days a week and come in the office the rest of the week?" And before news directors and news leaders probably would have looked at me and thought I was crazy. But now They can't do that because it's been done. We're doing it right now. As you said, there's not very many people in your newsroom right now. They're all doing it from home. So I really think that COVID has been a blessing in disguise, and it will serve people such as myself who are trying to get into this industry and may need accommodations like that. Well, so
All right. And besides, the journalism part with school and everything, I know you're big into advocacy too for those with special needs. I'll let you plug anything that you want to right now. So go ahead, feel free.
yeah, I'm a big advocate for people with disabilities. I truly believe in putting that person first, right? That's a big one of mine. We're people. We might have a disability, but we are people at the end of the day. We're just like you. We have the same dreams and the same aspirations, and we want to get married, we want to have a family, and we want to have that job. And for me, when I look at my future, I see myself as a journalist. I see myself as a father, as a husband, and all that. If anyone wants to, and I'm also a motivational speaker, shameless plug. I love to share my story with other people. I go wherever, you know. Like I said, logistically, it's hard for me to go out of state, but it'll be easier for me to go out of state for at least speaking engagement. So if anyone's listening and they're like, "Oh wow, this guy seems cool, and I want to know more. I want to possibly connect with him," so he can come and share his story to my corporation, they can reach out to me on all social media platforms at Drew Dees Reports, or they can email me at deesreports@gmail.com. I welcome anyone, journalists, reporters, producers, news directors, anyone. If you have any questions, because I'm here to help, and I really think that we need to push that envelope and start including disability more within the media because it is 2021 and it's time for change.
Well, Drew, I'm about to stop recording. I'm going to ask you to stay on even after I stop recording. But is there anything else that you want to say to anybody who watches this?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all my supporters and everyone who has supported me all along the way when at that News Life and Urban News uh, style we shared my post. I just posted that post simply, to celebrate my first live show. I didn't think that journalists from all across the country were gonna see that and start following me. So please just keep that encouragement up because it's you all at the end of the day that keep me going when I have those doubters and those people that are hesitant about me. I can go back to comments and posts such as yours, Alex, and know that I'm worth it and to know that there is a place within the world of journalism for me.
Awesome, Drew. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing all this with everyone. You're definitely breaking down barriers, and you're creating the change. And I hope people recognize this and will create the change within their newsrooms as well. So I really appreciate that, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course.